I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, call meeting to order.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda with an addition of number 13 to review the FEMA floodplain maps. And on number 9, we'll read a letter that the conservation director left us.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
That
Motion's passed.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for May 14th, 2024.
and I'll second that.
Any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Meeting is 10, John.
Where was I at last week? We had a meeting, conservation meeting. No, Board of Health, sorry, been a bit rough week. Board of Health meeting. I didn't bring my papers in. We reviewed some stuff. We talked about rehiring of the position, gal that left. The board, I think, is going to move forward on accepting applications, but not necessarily hiring at this point. We just want to see what's out there. So I think you also have one here on the conservation, a letter from the director on that. So we need to really talk about, I know we're on a hiring freeze, but some of these positions were already budgeted.
So
So,
with the county attorney and stuff, so I'll discuss that.
okay, I think we need to really talk about that. That's really all I have.
With quad caddy decategorization, we had an e-vote to get. There was 12,000 left over to use it for counseling in the juvenile detention center. And SIAC and SIADs. The vote was 10-2. So they're moving forward with raising our fees to belong to it, and going on with. There'll be a 28E show up. To have the person do the computers and stuff.
Anything else?
And that's it.
Last week, Selena and I talked a few times about this hiring freeze that Shawnee's talking about, so I got to let Paul talk to him. And what that actually interprets is if it's budgeted in a year, they can do it. We can have recommendations to wait on certain issues, say like public health, see if they can get by for a while. What we're trying to do is make our budget a little stronger for coming up. I talked to county attorney Adam, and he said basically the same thing. Went back on case review. If it's budgeted, they can go in through it. We can recommend that talking to the boards to kind of wait a little while to fill that position, just to make our budget amount stronger for the next year's budget. I talked to Brandon, the sheriff, and he was already thinking he's going to wait till August to replace the deputy that resigned, to kind of give us some room in his budget. And like I said, if they something that's needed right away, they can fill the position. But if it's something that we can get by for a little while to kind of give us a little bit of room for the next budgeting, I think the board would prefer that if it could, if possible. Just help us get through it. Like I said, we're in good shape on the budgets now, but we don't, with the tax cuts coming, we don't know what's going to be for the upcoming budgets. So we just want to try to get us some cushion back in our budgets again. So no, they can move forward, but just under my recommendation that if they can wait for a month or two or whatever like that, or longer on the public health side to fill that position, that would be good.
I think they're already headed in that direction.
So we just got, so we can go forward and fill them positions, but we just would like to take our time and get them filled, so. Transfer station, Joe's on vacation, we're taking care of some of the assignments on her, trying to get that metal put on that back wall. Everything's done, it's cured. I hate to open it up until I get some metal protecting that concrete, because it's gonna be soft for a while. But I'm still working toward that. And I think that's everything. Okay. Public input.
So Lena, we'd had some email back and forth on how much money the county has spent on the Sam Wilson case. Did you ever get anything back from ICAP on that?
No,
Okay.
I did not.
Is that something that maybe we could have the county attorney ask them about, or?
I can ask Adam, but at this time.
Because I don't think that would affect anything on the case. It's just how much money we've spent on that, or that
Yeah,
ICAP has spent is what I'm getting.
yeah, Louisa County hasn't spent any, hasn't had.
Right, and you probably won't get a bill till after it's all over anyway,
Right,
for your
right.
deductible.
And I don't know that ICAP will release that, but I can
Well, they should
sure,
release it at least at the end of it,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, how much was spent on that.
Mhm.
So,
But with it still being in negotiations and whatever, because it hasn't gone to trial yet
Okay.
until September.
and then the other thing, are we gonna kick the can down the road again on the loan to the Columbus Junction ambulance, or how you think you're gonna pay for that? Because I don't think the people that voted for that 59 cents per thousand voted that money to go to that loan. I mean, I certainly didn't vote that way. I voted for the money to go to forward with it. I didn't vote it to pay it up something in the rears. I think you need to be discussing that one, in my opinion, it ought to be forgiven. And then we go after the money. I've told you this before, through your errors and omissions. Because that was an illegal loan according to the county attorney. And,
Just on the account it came out of,
pardon,
on the account it came out of.
that's right. That's what the county attorney told me, that it was an illegal loan. So it broke the law. I mean, that's the way it is. And, okay, and that's all I have at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I had a question. Back to Sam's case. There was a closed meeting a while back on an offer, settlement offer. And has there been any action on that yet?
Anyone? No.
Or was that turned down, or
Yes, it was turned.
it was turned down? Was that done at that meeting, or was it done in an open session? Because I don't remember hearing about any action on that.
It was a closed session.
Yeah, closed session, so
But the decision was made at the closed session to turn it down,
not accepted.
and the attorney was comfortable with that, with taking a
Absolutely.
decision in closed session on that? Was there,
This is,
Since it's been
the
turned
trial
down,
was
there-
already scheduled. It was whether we wanted to continue or,
so if it's been turned down, then? is there
well, we
anything-
just kept the trial scheduled. We really never made a decision.
Right, okay,
We just moved forward instead of reneging.
so the settlement offer is still on the table then?
I suppose if we tuck our tails and run, yeah, I bet it's still there.
So you don't want to make a comment as to what was in that settlement offer then?
Basically told you.
Yeah, it was a closed
But
session.
we told you we're continuing with the trial, so.
It's however you want to construe it.
Dave, you had your hand up also.
Yes, is there a standard rock size that they're putting on secondary roads?
They're supposed to be, I don't know if they've been, well, you've seen some bigger rock going on there.
I have some in my pocket that they put right in front of my house, and
It
this
used
is
to be,
average size that they're putting out. And I think that's gonna run my tires.
it's a little bit bigger. It
This
used
is
to
just
be,
average.
we'll ask him, but I thought it was 1 inch and smaller.
Well,
That's what it was. You guys remember that?
How big is it, Dave? I haven't seen it.
This is just average ones.
What road was that, Dave?
145th.
145th?
Just right for your slingshot.
Can you,
Adam
can you
will be
keep
here.
comparing and help me here just a bit? Yeah. And then I'll have him look at that and see what size. He should be coming in if you want to wait around a little bit.
I gotta go fishing.
That's what I figured. Yeah. If you want to see right there. Yes.
Sit right here. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll talk to Adam. when he
Well,
comes
that's
in.
fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? We might throw them at the audience.
I'd like to put a, item for next week's agenda. If possible, I'd like to discuss how we notify the public, public hearings, public meetings. And it all gets kind of back to what I expressed my displeasure about last time.
Besides papers? Is that what you're saying?
I think the whole thing needs to be discussed, you know, the way people communicate today is not the way it was 20 years ago.
Yeah,
But by the same token, there's an awful lot of people that do not have access to the internet in this county and also they don't have the skills to make it work, so. I just think that the process can be improved. You guys expressed displeasure that there were only 2 people that showed up for that tax meeting, well. Instead of just accepting that, what can we do to fix it?
yeah. Well, and
And I'm not really prepared, I've got some homework I wanna do for that meeting, I really don't wanna discuss it now.
the whole state, we're still using official paper for notification. That's the official way, and that's the only one we have to do, and that's not, you're right, it needs to change with the times.
Yeah, there's no reason why we have to wait for the state to make a change. I mean,
Well, it's not official unless they make a change. That's what we have to follow their guidelines.
we can enhance and
We can
go
enhance.
over their guidelines.
Yeah.
I won't believe that we
Yeah.
have to, we're.
Yeah, we can always do above. Yeah.
The
That's
way,
We
what
have
I'd
to
like
meet
to
their
discuss.
guidelines.
way I look at it, none of my kids get the paper. It's just the new yeah, they could care less to.
I bet you less than 5% of the people who get the paper read that fine print. That's in the official notice.
Right. So, but I think we're gonna have to hit both medias just to. For my
Well, I've
mom's
got some ideas,
generation and
just
for the
not prepared
kids.
to
We'll look at
present them today.
Yep. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Yeah, I handed out payroll changes. Sean's gonna.
I only have one.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
Since we got quite a people here for the liquor license, let's go down to 13 and get that one.
You wanna go and read it? You got it.
Well,
Somebody's got it.
I don't
have it.
I have it. There it is. I'll
It's
make,
actually number 12.
okay, sorry, yeah. I'll make a motion that we approve the liquor license for Ship's Place under submitted to local authority.
In the federal government, isn't this our state government, it's how the officials get their college based? Lane's not in here, so otherwise.
Is that a second? That was a weak second.
Yeah, I'll second.
Any discussion?
We're all Zoom.
All in favor?
Uh,
We are on Zoom, we just don't have a TV.
yeah.
What'd you guys do with the TV screen?
It's okay.
Nothing.
You guys are a hot mess today.
So that is. Ship's Place now has a liquor license.
Can we talk about number 11 before we run out of time and I have to leave?
Sure.
Okay. So the thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Good
Good
luck.
luck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Josie, thank you.
Um,
Have a good one.
I contacted the company that's working with the city of Wapello and that has worked with, I have one, that worked with the schools on renewable energy. And I had the girls at the office pull up all of our power or bills, so I could submit to this company. We've talked several times, and he come back with a proposal last week for the county for solar and what it would save the county. In front of you is a proposal. A couple of things I want to key in on. Initially, their proposal says that we would save $6,800 a year in energy costs. That's the beginning, because we all know that the energy rates will continually increase, so that payback would get larger throughout time. Also, this proposal if we enter into it, would be zero out of pocket for the county. Cost us nothing to have this solar put in. And it could potentially save over a 30-year period, the county $1.4 million in energy costs
At current rates.
at current rates. I'm gonna meet with him on Thursday at 11 o'clock. We're gonna go from site to site and discuss what they've come up with. If you wanna look at the county or the courthouse picture, I guess that's one of the ones that I would like to discuss. I'm not overly wild about putting solar on top of the roof. I think you guys just put a new roof on it. Really,
Ginners.
I really don't want people stomping around up there and stuff. I thought about, if you look down at the parking lot, they actually have a raised solar panel above the parking lot. I thought about moving the other solar panel to the other parking lot it'd be the east, and doing 2 shaded areas for people to park under.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna kind of focus towards, and just keep away from the
Yeah,
roof.
I don't-
Yeah, I don't know. Roads department, you can see one on the roof of the roads department. The annex building, the one we're sitting in, there'll be solar panels on the back of this roof here for this use. If you look at the main jail, they've kind of got them out front. My thought was to put them back in that area of the grass that doesn't get mowed, back behind the building. As we talked about why that area wasn't mowed anyway, I'm not sure why it's not, but.
It's a cemetery.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, you might know.
Yeah, might want to put it there.
Cause that was the original site for the jail, but because of the
Okay,
unmarked grave.
okay, I didn't know that.
Yes.
All right, well, we'll talk about that. So, again, they've got other Minneapolis, Williamsburg versus schools, Fort Madison. They've got other ones that they've done. And so,
Yeah, and this is actually a good deal because you pay your existing amount for your ventures.
all the maintenance is taken care of. We don't have to do with anything.
How about removal?
Afterwards is removal, what's in here. He will be here. We're gonna go through this on Thursday, kind of fine tune everything, and then he will come actually to the supervisors meeting and give you a formal
Sounds good.
request or a proposal, I guess. But this was just the preliminary one that kind of doing some work on, and again, try to save the county some money, so.
Well, if you figure what we pay for electricity and gas county.
That's just over 30 years of 1.4 million, that's not
Yeah.
peanuts.
And it'll
That's
probably be
substantial
about
money.
2.8 about that time.
So-
You talk about degradation and all on their units,
It did not.
ask him that question.
Mhm.
That might be a little bit shocked.
Okay.
Because it's runs in the neighborhood of 2 to 4% per year. So you was talking about the price of energy going up, you know, the compound your savings. Well, it's the same on what you're
Going
collecting.
the other way.
It's compounded the other way going down.
Yeah.
And that was what, I know the panels are getting better, you know, they are, you know, technology's changing.
I'll ask him.
They do have some.
Yeah, I looked into getting solar at my house just 2 years ago, and the material that goes into it makes a huge difference as to how long it lasts.
Oh, yeah.
Like you were saying, you know, some of the older ones especially degrade 2 to 4% or whatever. Some of the newer ones, if you're willing to spend a little bit more cash, degrade a lot slower than that, but it just depends on, because if you want the higher quality material, then it costs more upfront. Ken Purdy is somebody who put in solar panels on his property just a few years ago, and he told me a whole lot about his process and experience of getting those put in, so. And quite a few of the propane customers I used to deliver to are putting solar up all over the place because they keep getting better deals every year. So again, you know, just the upfront cost will go up, but if the cost is better upfront, then the quality is better over the long run. I like what you said about elevating some so vehicles can park underneath them. That's a nice idea, but then the problem is. If they're that high up, how easy is it gonna be to get somebody to squeegee snow off of them in the winter time?
Yeah, and our insurance might not let us partner with it because it is electrical producing.
Yeah.
And you could just exclude the courthouse from even having solar panels. It's such a nice looking property over there without trashing it up with those.
We'll
Do
talk,
the rest of it, don't trash up the courthouse.
we'll talk. Yeah,
And they don't have to be on that property.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can be offsite or somewhere else.
Put 'em out there.
Yeah, put them over here and pipe it over there.
that's true.
Yeah.
Never thought about that.
Yeah.
We're on top of the jail.
Yeah, cause it's electricity, so we can run where.
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
good, all good points.
Payroll changes, please.
Yeah, I got Noah's here somewhere, where'd I put it? I'm gonna go ahead and approve Noah's payout. I'm sorry to see him go, he was a great guy, but I'm sure he'll do wonderful things for the federal. I wish him all the best.
Great employee.
Yeah.
Motion.
Yeah, that's my motion.
He made a motion, I'm just checking it over to second, before I second it, this is good with payroll, Selena?
Yeah.
All right, I'll second it then.
Any more discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye. Adam's here.
Yep, I think we'll get with Adam. Adam, first, Dave Hills brought some rocks in off 145th Street. And he said the majority of the rocks are a lot bigger than we normally. I'd like to have you look at that, if you could, please. I don't know if they had the classifier on the.
145th, where's?
By Dave Hills.
West, Columbus.
He never did say, I'm not sure what Dave lives at.
45th Street.
Dick Wilson's road, my road, 142. Right there behind Bob Schlutz.
Okay, there's a bunch of other ones.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on it, I mean,
Said the majority of the rock was at some.
inch.
Inch and a quarter, okay. Well, I'll talk to them about it.
Didn't we, isn't our classification in 1 inch and lower?
No, it's,
Didn't it used to be?
it's. Depending on the time of the year, usually during the summer, they'll do. 3/4 inch because it'll pack, but in the springtime, they'll occasionally haul bigger because they're filling potholes and things like that. So it's either 3/4 inch, an inch, or inch and a quarter, so. Which it might have been inch and a quarter, or might have gotten mixed in wrong with the plate or something, so.
Okay. If you would check in on that.
Yep.
Dave Hills.
Okay.
I don't know the number.
That's fine.
You wanna go ahead with your report, please?
Yeah, we've been getting, pipelining done out north of Grandview on G, 44X. Talking to a guy that lives up there, and the road, they said the road was gravelled in 1971. They put, metal pipes under it, and it hadn't been updated since, paved over, so. Cheapest best approach would be to put a liner in there, and then they concrete around it, and it fixes the pipe. You know, it's cost a few $1,000s a piece, but a heck of a lot cheaper than ripping up the road and fixing the pipe and all that, so. Thing we do every year, so. That's getting done. Guys are back to hauling rock, they've just got a few 100 tons left, so they're gonna be done hauling rock this week. Guys are mowing, blading, things like that. Our boom mower, tractor boom mower came last week, so we're getting that outfitted and have some training coming up on it and all that. Our old truck out will be auctioned off here in a couple months, so. Get that done. We ordered our sign truck. Chassis coming from Mainzer, and then we're going to Star Equipment for boxes and crane generator and all that, so. Our plan is replace that old red truck, which back when Brandy worked there, was on a different machine, they picked it up and put it on the truck and. A little bit overweighted for what, for the truck we currently have now, so. Anyway, so that's ordered, and then we also ordered a replacement truck for Terry. For his maintenance truck there, it's gonna be white, it's gonna be about the same as mine, so. I didn't know last time we had it was a Dodge and. Like concerns about the colors, so we're all gonna be white from now on, so. That's going on, guys are out spraying too, that they're doing some of the noxious weeds spraying, you know, diesel and thistles and. Sourdough, I think is the other one or something, so. Getting things like that done, got some water up on roads beginning of last week, but they're all down now, so. Went down to it in slough a couple times, and that thing we did, the water was up at the bottom of the thing, so. Worked just fine, we don't have to go down and replace it, so that's good, so. Other than that, just general office, our office lady's off, so I'm doing that job here this week, so answering phone calls and stuff, so. But nothing too special going on. My uncle contacted me and he's got some more signs he'd like up, and he's been getting me checks from people, so I take them over to the treasurer and positive, so.
For the Purple Heart
Yeah.
signs.
Yeah, purple heart stuff going on sale, so.
Great.
Speaking of Wes, I talked to him the other day, he said 11 o'clock on Memorial Day.
I think it's been moved to back Veterans Day.
Well, Kurt will be here in a while.
Yeah, Curtis wanted. Called me.
Okay.
Who's me?
I'm always the last to know.
No, yeah. He was first no for that one, but the change, I think you might.
Okay.
It's due to, we haven't received anything back, acknowledging the Purple Heart.
No, this is like the Memorial Day services.
Yeah, I think that's still going
Oh,
on,
okay.
but we're just not gonna be able to
Okay.
present the Purple Heart.
All right, I get it.
Yeah, that part.
Okay.
has been canceled. Anything else?
No, anything for me?
Just the rocks?
Yeah, I'll take a look at it and see what's going on.
Okay.
So. All right.
Thank you.
You can take those with you too.
Yeah.
Just scatter them out on the gravel road on the way back.
Put them in your pocket, that's how they got it.
Put them on the road, don't save money.
There you go, I'll take them out.
Yeah.
Throw 'em back
I
on
got a
the
budget
road.
to uphold.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read the letter, phone number 9, from Jacob. Jacob sent a letter. Would like to take a minute of your time to about rehiring someone for the conservation maintenance shop. Originally, there was 2 full-time positions. During the hiring freeze, I was promoted to director without replacement, but with the duties that still fell under my previous natural resources tech position. So essentially, there was no full-time, and I was helping out where I could and still doing the duties of the director. We also have 3 seasonal employees, 2 are primary mowers and 1 who helps with projects and assist with all other aspects of natural resources conservation. All this being said, when Noah leaves on May 23rd, I'll have no full-time employees working at the maintenance shop. The seasonals, 2 of which work less than 2 weeks, will be on their own, making decisions. And should be made by a full-time employee, while a few days or weeks may be possible to handle. I don't believe the conservation will function as it should without someone at the shop. I would like to fill the 2 additional positions as well as maintained by the director duties, especially coming into the heat summer. There will simply be too much 1 person. Given this already cut 1 position shop, I believe we need to replace other in the scenario. I hope you understand the position that we are in And in fact, we lost 100% of our full-time staff at the shop. And I think we discussed that.
I think the board has moved forward and they are getting applications. Again, there was some debate whether how many we'll actually get. As Jacob said that on my parks or wherever they post all the jobs, there were a lot of jobs, so. But all we can do is try.
Hopefully somebody local.
Yeah.
Maybe Jeff would come back and supervise part-time.
Ask.
Yeah.
Katie might want to come back too.
Well,
Okay, we got
got a job.
we got BEMA on 13. And basically, this was sent down to us. There's some word out on the street that Selena got on there that there's no mapping, and we want to make sure this is not trying to be force fed into the county or something that would causes difficulties down the road. I know they wouldn't do that on purpose. Right. But anytime we've dealt with them, we've always ended up in the wrong end of the stick, so. So, Adam did get a copy, right?
Adam, not that I know of, no.
I'd like to make sure he gets a
Yeah.
copy of this and reviews it to make sure that,
Okay.
they're not trying to, and what, if Chris will remember this, 4 years ago, we had a lawsuit against, about levy certifications, remember? And this is supposed to be, part of the continuation of certification of our levies for not everybody would have to have flood insurance. And this is just part of it. And I want to make sure that that our I's are dotted and T's are crossed before we pass it, because it affected a lot of people on the bottom of Oakland.
Insurance rate.
Insurance rates. So we got to make sure that just don't try to get through the system.
And after the flood, it took them 4 years to figure out there was a pumping station to remove
Yeah.
excess water on the Oakville bottom,
Yeah.
so.
And they decertified all of our levies in the Oakville area and other areas in the county. But that was the main thing. And they had a lawsuit against them. They won. They certified the levies now, so we're all,
But the people down there are paying dearly for it.
yes,
It cost $1 million to recertify them, and that's
it all came out of that funds.
on their taxes.
Okay, so what do you want us to do with this?
This is just a review
All right.
and,
When you say Adam, are you gonna have Adam Shutt review this or?
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna tell you.
Adam
I
Parsons.
talked to Brian Paul, our emergency management yesterday, who in turn talked to Adam Shutt. And I think we need to put this on the agenda next week to have Adam Parsons, Adam Shutt be in with this discussion.
I'd like to have time to read it. And
Yeah.
digest this
Get
anyway,
copies,
so.
because we received 3 copies yesterday, a certified for Louisa, we received Fredonia, a copy of Fredonia's letter, and a copy of Oakville, and Linda Avery and Benita would like to be in on this discussion also, and I'm sure Sam, are you here?
I wasn't here specifically for that, but
Okay.
we just went through all of this process with them like 2 years ago, and we had to. I don't think we actually went through a lawsuit, but we got up to that process in order to get them to recognize our pumping station. And the drainage that we have, and then they came and they redrew the maps for us, so. I don't know, are they redrawing things again now?
Well, according to this letter, that's what it looks like, but when I went out and with our case number, there's nothing available to us, no maps or anything, so
Okay.
I emailed the gentleman that's listed on here for a contact, and I got an email back, an automatic email that he's out of the office until the 28th.
Okay.
Transfer.
Well, I guess I'll have to follow up with that with our information then, because
Yeah, did
we
you-
just went through this all 2 years ago, and we got it settled, and we got them to come down and redo the maps for Fredonia. Taking into account the levee and the pumping station and everything, and they changed their initial assessment, so as far as I'm aware, everything was finished unless they're starting it up again, but I don't know why they did that in 2 years.
I guess I took it that you would have received a certified copy.
I haven't received anything yet.
Okay,
I'll have
make
to check
sure
with my
and
city
get a
clerk and
copy
see
of
if she
this
got
to
something.
you. Yeah,
And what I worry about this is time's an essence here, because they give us a 90-day period for appeals, so we
Yeah.
have it started on May 20th.
Okay.
So that's why I wanna try to get this thing reviewed many eyes as possible on it.
Could I get a copy of Fredonia's letter too?
I'll
'Cause I
copy
have-
all three of them and
It's right there.
get those
It's
to you
just
guys.
Oakville though.
Yeah, but he has Fredonia. so
Oh, okay,
there's
I'm sorry.
Fredonia.
Okay. All right, I got it.
I'll take Oakville's if you want. Fredonia.
Cause I know Oakville received a certified
I'll
copy,
be
because
here.
Linda called me yesterday.
No, it doesn't matter. If I can just get an entire
Yeah, we'll do it.
copy of.
Next
of
week.
Everything
Yeah.
that's involved and I can read them and,
Yeah. It takes a while, but just all
Yeah.
good stuff.
right.
So anyway, we gotta get, so we'll put this on the agenda next week. And see if we can get Adam, copy to Adam, bring review of persons. Review it prior and Adam shut before the meeting. Please. Okay. Bert, you wanna go ahead, please? Morning. Morning. Thank you.
Morning, you underdressed.
Yeah.
Should I be in church?
You know,
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
that's okay.
So the month, since last, I guess we're actually 5 weeks. The numbers are down because I was gone, a couple times. To Denver and then training at the end of last month as well. You have on there that we were working on getting some, home repairs done for a few veterans. And we're kind of at a standstill with it, on the veterans ends, willingness to let people come in and, assess what needs to be done. And then also, the veteran's name has to be on the title. And, the wife doesn't know if she wants to put the husband on the title, and so we're at a standstill for that. Cross accreditation, probably, I'm waiting on American Legion. The Vietnam Veterans of America is probably not gonna happen. They don't accreditate very many. It's a much longer and detailed process, and it's just not gonna get me access to that much more than what I already have. We are, with this last trip, we're at zero, effectively, minus payroll. So we're spent for the year, which is good. All the adjustments and amendments are submitted and all that looks good. Probably gonna come in under what I thought, by just a couple $100, not by a lot. And then for next year's FY, Reynolds passed, she signed into law, an increase of money for us of $3,000. It's only for the VSOs and it's only for national trainings. And whatever portion, of that 3,000 that we don't spend goes back. I have to see about, before we talked about, using some of the training money for this year and some of next year's, to go together. So I would only go every other year. With this $3,000, that looks like that plan doesn't need to happen that way. I think probably every other year, I'll probably be handing back $3,000 just because, or the majority of it, because I can still use it for virtual training. It's not that I have to actually go.
There's, and with that. The state is looking to increase the dollar figure that we get for per diem. Because Denver, and I addressed this before I left, cost of to eat in Denver was a lot more than what it would be here. And so they're looking at enacting federal GSA per diem rates for food and to just do it across the board. So that way, because there's some counties that got $30 a day to eat, whereas we get 50. So, and no, none of us should have to pay to go do our jobs. We're down 2 for the care centers. We had 1 additional payout for food last month for 137, 172, brought us to 489. The trip was really good. Even was able to sit in on a federal appeal court case that was actually, they turned the conference room into a federal court, brought in marshals, dog sniff, the whole thing. It was pretty interesting. Except for the case was not arguing travel money versus benefits. It 4 veterans utilized the van this month. Outreach is gonna be the fall meal. I'm already looking at the care center, or the community center in the Morning Sun. Have to sign up, do the application, and they're gonna come off what the normal cost is. They're gonna give us a discount since we are county, and it's for veterans. As far as interviews go, we to replace Bob, we finally got some 5 or 6 applications after some cold calls to veterans if they'd be interested or not. They're gonna go over those applications this week and then set up which ones we want to interview and start the interview. The commissioners have gone over the changes to the soldiers relief program that I suggested. They agree with them. While it may seem harsh that we're reducing benefits to veterans, there are other assets, resources that those veterans can utilize. And that way, we also ensuring that we're not double dipping into programs that their counterparts aren't eligible for. I would like to discuss next time moving from 20 hours, which is the minimum for the office, to 25 hours. I've already discussed this with the commission. There's 3 main factors, and it's all because VA or the state or the feds have increased eligibility to veterans, which increases the workload. Right now, the plan is if I work over 20, I submit it for comp time, which still costs the county the same amount of time or same amount of dollars. If I project to do 25, then we know the dollar figure at the end of the year. And we know what we're gonna spend. And to me, that's a smarter plan than to, well, we might spend this much and then we both blow the budget. I'll have everything prepared to discuss that if you're willing to hear the discussion next month. And I'll also put in front of you the actual soldiers relief program, so you can look at what the changes are to approve those changes. And I'm meeting with commissioners this week.
That's good. How will going from 20 to 25 hours a week affect your submitted budget for next year?
It would be an increase, not to be sarcastic, but about 20%. So I'd have to look at the exact dollar figure. I haven't gone that far because I really just made the decision that I wanted to bring this up to you. Bring the dollar figures and everything if you're willing to hear the discussion. I figured not to do the work unless you agree to hear it. Otherwise, it'd be a lot of work.
I think we're always here to listen. That doesn't mean we'll go with it, but we're here to listen to options. So
I look at it I compare it as if the state came in and made us put in more roads. county roads would, secondary roads would have. And that's what's, in effect, has happened. The federal and the state has put in more things for me to do. And 20 hours is just not, and that comes from Andy sitting in the job before, when I talked to him about the things that have increased, he's like, I never had to do that stuff. And when I talk to Jeanette and it gets to Adam and it comes back and he's like, yeah, I didn't have to do that, so. They understand it.
The state feds, any put any money toward that?
As far as helping us with pay. No, I mean, the feds wouldn't, they never have, they just pile more stuff on anyway.
It's their rules.
I'm sorry?
It's their rule.
It is their rules, it is, and ultimately it benefits the veteran, I mean, they added or changed. Just last month, 55 gastro type of conditions. Last year it was the PACT Act, which added 20 additional presumptive conditions that if a veteran had this, they weren't eligible for benefits. Then they went back, they did the math and they said, oh, well, yeah, that condition, you should be eligible for that. So go submit a claim. And so now there's claims associated with it and appeals and research and all that. So there is more stuff to be done.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Always happy to send you money.
Okay, claims are in front of you.
Make a motion to approve the claims.
Oh, second it. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So next week, we're gonna have FEMA. We're gonna have solar next week
Yeah,
on the agenda.
Yes.
So
Yep.
there was two things to the agenda.
I don't know that he'll be here, but I'll have more
Okay.
information to provide.
Anything else needs to be added for next week?
Al Molenbrook is, I'm gonna have the public hearing process
Review the public
to
hearing.
enhance the service.
Sounds like an exciting week next week.
Okay, I'll take that motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Oh, do you see the GPC, they've got a class action lawsuit?
I see that.
Working.